Hello, masters and princesses. This is Peter from MNN. I am coming to you from Japan, and it's been a while since I've done anything in this room. And well, not done anything. I've slept here. Anyhow, well, not here. Anyhow, it is towards the end of August. It has been a week since I returned from the States. I spent a couple of weeks back home, and during that time, I also got to go to a show. So that was quite exciting. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you had the opportunity to go to one of the shows this past August. And if you didn't, you know what? There's always room, there's always time. And let's hope that come next year, somewhere in Europe, those of you waiting will be able to actually attend, possibly Australia and other places too. So, anyhow, this episode is meant to be a recap of the US tour in August. Now, originally, Scott was meant to be here with me so we could talk about this together. Unfortunately, day of recording of this recording, he hurt his back. If you guys know him even just a bit, you know he's pretty relentless in working. The guy works his butt off, and sometimes his butt gets a little sore. So it's on his butt, but yeah. So he just couldn't make it out today. Anyhow, thanks to Scott for working so hard. It was so good to see him in Anaheim. If you guys got to see our little chat in the morning on the Anaheim show, it was really good. And it was great to see him in person again, and everyone else. But we'll get to that in a bit. All right. So let's do the recap, shall we? Now, for the US tour, started off August 4th, and this was at the Lollapalooza pre-show with Beauty School Dropout. It was sold out, and I think a lot of people were worried that this show would kind of hurt them potentially for their actual show at Lollapalooza. And in fact, it was the opposite because the following afternoon, I mean, that show, the after show was what, 11:30. So the girls wrapped up probably 1:30, 2 a.m. But if anything, that maybe fired them up, and it kind of maybe broke them in. It maybe broke the ice so that come afternoon when it was time for them to perform on Coinbase stage, they absolutely killed it. I think it has already become a legendary stage, a legendary performance, a legendary filming and recording. I've mentioned before, but thank you so much to the director producer who was editing as the show was going on. Of course, they were kind of uh every here and there. I think they weren't used to having a bass being so prominent in a band and having solos, so they weren't sure where to go and when the space was going on. But all in all, it was an amazing performance, and of course, for me, and I think for a lot of people, that bass guitar battle between Misa and Konami during Hate was just mind-blowing. Moving on, you had Minneapolis at Varsity Theater, sold out show. Then we went on to Denver, Salt Lake City, Portland, and Spokane. And these four shows were accompanied with the opening act of Starcrawler. Now, in Denver, at the Summit, it was sold out. The cool thing about Denver was that there was some switching of instruments during Machi nighttime. Misa took the drums, Konami took the bass, and did a pretty dang good job. And I did see Akane grab the guitar, but I didn't actually hear her play. Maybe it did happen, but I didn't see it recorded. Then you had Salt Lake City at the Depot. Portland Crystal Ballroom sold out. Now, Portland was a little bit odd because you had that open area, you had the rails, and then you had that sort of hall, that long stretch, which the girls took full advantage of, having a lot of fun running up and down. And I think it was great for them. It was great for the audience, for the crowd, for you guys. So that was an awesome thing to see. Um, Also at Portland, you guys got Anemone, and I know I got to hear Anemone a few times back in April here in Japan, but Anemone, I think that was the first in the States, or at least it's been for quite a while. So I think people were pretty blown away and really excited, very moved. I believe SJ was saying he just closed his eyes, let us just wash over him. So yeah, that was Portland. Then you had Spokane, the Bing Crosby Theater. It was a seated venue. I heard the energy was a bit different. I know Scott mentioned that as well in a tattoo, but it was still, again, it was still a great performance, a great show. And they did have pre and post show parties that Eminem live streamed with Scott playing games, hanging out, drinking, eating. It seemed like a really good time. I mean, I wish I could have attended, but um, I'm glad at least one of us went and really just entertained and got entertained as well. Moving on, we'll go on to Sacramento. Ace of Spades, it was sold out. You guys got Moratorium. And if nothing else, you guys got the world debut of Shambles. So that was something exciting. And I know more than a few people were jealous of the fact that you guys got to hear it first in Sacramento. Um, I knew that it was coming. I knew that it would be played somewhere towards the end. I didn't know where. I was hoping Anaheim. But Sacramento, you got it. So, and then we get to Anaheim. Now, Anaheim, I want to spend maybe just a little bit more time just because I was actually there. I was number 4 in the lineup. I got there about 3:20 a.m. And in front of me and Joe, who was number 3, you had 2 more people. Oh gosh, the names are escaping me. Is it Pablo and Martin? Or am I completely wrong and off my rocker? Number 5, Joseph Luna, and then 6 and 7, I believe it was the Rileys, Herschel and Rhonda, who were amazing that day, incredibly generous. But that was definitely, I don't know, is Dawn Patrol even appropriate anymore? I know people were saying, I think Scott said Midnight Morons, whatever else you got, because I think come next time around, I think people are gonna be getting there even earlier, the day before possibly to get the rail. But man, it was worth it. I got 3 hours of sleep that night, but it was totally worth it. So exciting, so much fun. There's something about anticipating an event and having that event fulfill all of your expectations and go over and beyond, and especially the people that I got to meet. As I mentioned, I got to meet Herschel and Rhonda. I got to meet tons of people. I had actually met him last year, didn't know his name, and it turned out that my benefactor, who actually for free gave me a UVIP, John Marcheski. Thank you so much again. It was great to actually see him and talk to him. And I mean, everyone else, you had the usual suspects, but there were a lot of people I got to say hi to. And it's unfortunate that there's just so many people. And it's tough. Sometimes I I felt a little bit like maybe a politician, just kind of shaking hands and rubbing shoulders and schmoozing. But I was genuinely grateful for everyone that was there. Before I get into some of the fan swag that I got, not only from Scott, that was passed down to him from others outside of Anaheim, but also at Anaheim. But yeah, Anaheim, House of Blues, sold out. It was a record breaker. I believe Scott mentioned that uh, for Live Nation and even for House of Blues, it sold out in record time and sold out just everything. Like there has been no other band that has sold out that venue the way the Band-Maid did. foundation on down. Getting a bit into some of the highlights of Anaheim. Let me just go quickly into a little bit of the swag. Tommy Tin gave me a few of these, but this is just one. Little sticker I can put on something. I'll find something, Tommy. This is Alex. This is Alex. And one of the really cool things, it's not really fan swag, but I got this from Alex Arie. Sorry again. But he handed me and Scott a couple of Bluetooth wireless earphones. This was something that he helped design, and I believe he said it was a friend's company, but it's called Clear. And I've been using this the past week, and it's awesome. They really are clear. And there's something exciting about hearing music again in a new way. And I think that's why good headphones or earphones are so important to really hear songs as they were meant to be heard and the way that they were produced. So thank you for that so much. Definitely recommended. This was from Spokane. Can you see that without the glare? Let's see. I believe this is from Robert. Robert Barweiler. Sorry, the last names escape me because I never try to pronounce it in person, but nice, cool little button here. And then all the way from Japan, even though we both came from there, Hawk Metal handed me one of these cool fans, which I'm really happy about. The art itself is from Mokame Nana, and amazing artist, very, very humble, very generous, and man, prolific. The work she does is amazing. And I believe there's at least 1,000 or 1,500 of these were made. So if you didn't get one yet, you may still have a chance. And then, of course, what we did, I helped design the back for the playing cards with all the fan arts. And then I got to make this little postcard, which was also the banner that we had signed that day. And unfortunately, security wouldn't allow us to enter with it. If it had been the material that was used last year, we could have kind of rolled it up and that would have been fine, but it was sort of a harder material and they said no. I was hoping for a sort of Band-Maid wrap-up part 2, like Misa did with the banner from last year, but it was a no-go. The show itself, amazing, phenomenal. I had such a good time. Such a good time. Scott, I think, enjoyed it in a different way because he got to spend it with his wife and his daughter. And I don't know. I mean, maybe if I took my dog to a Band-Maid show, it would be something special. I don't think I'll ever find that out. But for him, it was something that he had been wanting to do for a long time and he finally got to. And the fact that he did was really awesome. So I'm really happy that he got that chance. And they seem to really enjoy the show a lot as well. And I think appreciate just exactly what Scott does come midnight. Scott. I was so happy that they debuted Rene. Sorry, I'll talk about this soon. I was so happy that they debuted Rene. Just I threw out a bunch of songs on Twitter and I said, if you could please, and Rene was one of them. So when they did play it, I was just over the moon, especially because it followed Hate. And I was already like white fire during Hate. So then to go from that to Rene, another just mind-blowing experience. Just top to bottom, front to back, up and down, in and out. I loved the show. So good, so fun. And yeah, I mean, it was great because we got the flowers, all 5 colors, the glasses, which I didn't mention, but if you kind of take a look here, you'll see all them lined up. I'll just grab one of them. This is Miku's. And yes, I did get to hand it back to Akane, and she took it, and the rest is history. If you guys have seen the pictures and the videos, but to see them wearing it, and then to have Miku and Akane wearing it while playing Freedom, I mean, that's history right there. So, Scott, awesome job with the idea and the execution, and I think everybody's really excited about that. So, but yeah, that the skateboards because you guys have seen that as well. House of Blues hands that out to shows that are sold out. Gorgeous skateboards. I wish they would sell that. Can you imagine Band-Maid skateboards? Good stuff. All right. I mean, that's that. Moving on to Mexico. Um, their first show there in over 5 years. The capacity of Pabellon Oeste was 3,500, but about 2,000 showed up, and there was rain because of the hurricane that came around. But from what I hear, it was an awesome show. And massive highlight was just Akane and Misa putting on the luchador masks. Um, that's really cool. It's really fun. So anyhow, uh, that is the recap of the show. And what I wanted to do, and what Scott and I wanted to do, was to actually invite a couple of guests. And our first one is actually Richard Hogan. You guys probably do remember him from previous interviews. We've interviewed him twice. He has he had been to all 14 shows last year, and I'm not exactly quite sure how many shows this year. I think with him wanting to attend so many shows, not only here and in Japan, it's a little bit tougher. So we're going to find out. But let me go ahead and bring him in and let's have a little fun. Hey, Richard, how are you?
All righty, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, yeah, LA was, you were just there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this is our third time via Zoom,
Yes.
and we've actually seen each other at separate shows. Let's see, last year Belasco, Tokyo Garden Theater, and then just last week Anaheim. Is that right?
Yeah, yes,
Okay. And I'm gonna definitely see you at least a couple more times, I believe. You'll be at Hiroshima?
yes. And Okayama, Matsuyama, and Takamatsu.
Right. And then you're going back and then coming back for Yokohama?
I'm not doing Yokohama.
Ah, okay, okay.
I have limited vacation time. Oh, I get a lot, but I get 30 days a year. I've used 28 of them for Band-Maid. So
I
I
I
had
understand.
I
No,
had
go
to
ahead.
choose between Yokohama or four shows a little bit earlier. So I chose
Yeah.
the four shows.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, even, in January with Tokyo Garden Theater, I know for you, you love to experience both the small and the big, and you really enjoyed that experience. And like for me, I'm a little bit more hardcore in like sort of the club venue, the smaller capacity, and just the intensity of that. But yeah, I think you will love all those smaller shows that are coming around in September.
I'm surprised at how small they are. Many of them are 300 to 600 people. And many of those
Yeah,
cities are bigger than the cities they played here, where they had 11, 12, 1,500. So it
yeah.
was,
I think at heart, no matter how big Bandmates gets and whether we see them that way or not, they're gonna always be like actually be a small club band.
I
I
like
feel
that.
like at heart, Yeah, no, I mean same here, absolutely. So how many shows did you actually catch on this last leg of the US tour in August?
August was four. I did Portland, Spokane, Sacramento, and Anaheim.
Okay, so you just did the West Coast. Got it.
Yeah, and I did six earlier in May. So
I see. All right. So did you notice a difference from May and August with the maids? Was there a difference in terms of the quality of performance or just whether it was them or whether it was you?
they seemed, I don't know how they do it, get better every show. I thought when I saw them for the first time at Aftershock, I was like, wow, how does any band do this? And every show,
Hmm.
they seem to get better and better. Yeah, they're really, a lot of people have commented they seem to be relaxed and into it and really enjoying
Hmm.
themselves, and it shows.
Hmm.
I think they enjoyed themselves last year, especially at the beginning, but I think they were more shocked that so many people showed up last year.
Mm. Right, because of COVID and all those years in between, it was a different type of excitement and
Yeah.
appreciation.
Yes.
They definitely have more confidence going in this time around.
Yes.
So out of those four shows, did you have a favorite? Because it again, it does seem like every time I see you comment, this is the best show ever, and then the next one, this is the best show
Yeah.
ever.
So for just anybody showing up to a show and not choosing song selection, I would say Portland was the best show so far. It
Hmm.
had everything you could want in it. The crowd was great. There was a fairly large female contingent, which has been growing. It's what somebody commented. It's the only band that's aging. The audience is aging backwards,
Uh-huh.
and more young people show up.
Uh,
And they they had the runway, and they seemed to love that. And the crowd was a lot of times when you look behind you and Psyche saying jump. Maybe the first 3 or 5 rows are going, and then the intermittent people. But it seemed like Portland, everybody was jumping.
oh, that's awesome.
And in the runway, they seem to love that. For me
Right.
personally, I think it has to be Anaheim, but
Okay.
yeah,
And now I saw you at Anaheim, actually before noon, right?
yeah, I got there at 8.
Right. I mean, the sun was definitely up, but your day at Anaheim didn't start the best. Can you explain a little bit of what was happening?
I went to the Sacramento show, so I had to get I had to fly in and take an Uber all the way across town. So it was an hour and 10 minutes across town. So I started my day at 2 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so it
then
was.
you had some issue with tickets as well.
Oh yeah, Ticketmaster. I had a UVIP and 4 VIP tickets, and one VIP was accounted for, but I was going to give the other 3 VIPs away.
Hmm.
But suddenly they all disappeared out of my Ticketmaster app and Live Nation. Everything was gone. Uh, so luckily, the Live Nation rep was going to recognize the UVIP because that goes by ID. And then I was able through one email to see through the email one VIP ticket, and they were going to let me in with the
Hmm.
UVIP, but all those other tickets. So like 20 minutes before they let us in, the ticket showed back up, but it was too late to give the VIPs away to other people, and I
Ah,
wasn't going to risk losing a ticket
yeah.
anymore. Yeah, that was stressful.
I saw.
Super.
I saw. I've seen you a few times, and you're always a pretty cool, chill, relaxed
Yeah,
guy. And I think that's the most rattled I've seen you. And I understandably so.
yes, that was. Yeah, people complain about Ticketmaster, and I've given away a lot of tickets. I think on last
Mm.
year's tour, I gave away uh, 10 tickets out of 11. And this
Wow.
year, I think I gave away 9 or 10. So I was pretty
Okay.
comfortable with the app. I don't
Yeah.
really have the issues many people have, but when they're just not there, that is, I can't do anything about that. That was nothing to do with me. Was it Live
Right.
Nation was gone, Ticketmaster, they were gone. I
Right.
was able to recover one through an email, and that was it. So, but then
Yeah.
they all showed back up later. That's like, why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, your day started out not the best, but it ended up pretty good.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, I mean, you've shared in different places. I mean, I've seen it on Facebook, but can you share what was so great about how it ended?
Seems like Akane gave me a stick personally that she signed. So
Right.
I haven't seen all the sticks, but it seems most of them this year are, oh, I have not seen another one that's signed.
Right.
So
I mean,
after,
I got one. I
yeah.
looked really, really hard. I took a microscope and I looked to see if there was somewhere that she had signed or left some sort of marker print, but nothing.
No,
So,
yeah. And Portland, she threw a couple out, and I saw one of those. It was not signed.
mm,
And then in Sacramento, she handed out 4 of them. I got one of those
right.
in Sacramento. And then the very next day, Anaheim, I was on the rail on Misa's side. I was wearing her shirt, but she came
Right.
around.
What you're wearing now?
Yeah, I had to show it. But that was the third time I wore the shirt, and each time she had pointed it out. So during
Wow.
Imagine Night time, when she was standing to the side, She
Mm,
pointed out the shirt,
mm.
uh, and
Third time's a
gave me the
charm.
thumbs up. And in Nashville, she after the show, she came around the kit and came up to the edge of the stage and
Uh-huh.
did the hand sign around the shirt and gave me the heart. So yeah, she got me a. I mean, she signed it, and
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if you can
show it.
see it, but it's got the thank
Right,
yous
right,
and drew the little cat. I believe she drew on there.
right, right. With the Kane.
And it's
Yeah, I
used.
mean,
So,
yeah, that is awesome. I mean, not only did you get an Akane drumstick, you got two of them, and that
yeah,
was back-to-back nights.
yeah, that's unheard of. She gives out so few sticks. I think last year she gave out four. I don't know if I have a perfect accounting, but I pay attention to those. If
Yeah.
you think about they each give out about 8 picks of the guitar players and bass.
Mm,
That's about 600 to all the shows I've been to.
mm,
So your probability's high. But drumsticks last year was four, and this year I think was 10 or 12. So
yeah.
they're
Yeah, no,
they're
I
much
mean,
needed.
in 2019, I got a Misa bass pick at Club Quattro, which you'll be at Hiroshima
Yeah.
this year. So I was really happy about that, just because Misa is sort of, I think, my go-to.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the idea, because actually in January, Joe, who was next to me, he like flung himself and threw himself over at the end of the show to like grab the stick out of the clutches of somebody else that was nearby. So I thought, okay, that's cool. I've never been one to fight for something like that. If
Yeah.
like if it comes down to me or you and you're really that aggressive about it, I'll just kind of let it go. So I was really amazed that I just put my hands out and just looked at her. Maybe it was the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the Misa pick is the one thing I'm missing. I actually have an Akane and a Miku or a Konami and a
Konami,
Miku.
got it.
Yeah. And a drumstick. So
Right. Well,
there's
the ever elusive Psyche Mike.
yeah,
That one.
Mike. If she gives out mics, that would be crazy. Somebody made
So,
the comment about her the honey packet she takes. Or gotta get
oh
a psyche.
yeah. Oh, that's right. It was, who is it? Hawk Metal. I guess he had purchased some from here in Japan, but he saw me and he handed me a little packet. Not from Psyche though, so it's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. If it was
It's
her
different.
from her, then it would come from her. That's the only thing she's got to hand out.
Right, right. So would you say that that is the highlights ever since you've been following Band-Maid, or do you have sort of another like top highlight since you
No, that has
have?
to. Miku handed me a pick because I went to all the shows. That was
Yeah,
awesome. And then Akane handing me a stick because
right,
so I've been to a lot of shows and in several of them with their shirt on, which she recognizes. But, yeah,
right.
that show also they played Rene. Last year when people asked what song do you want them to play, I'm like, I don't care. They have 120. They can play any of them.
Right.
And now that I've been to enough shows, I'm like, okay, I want to see Rene live, and they played it. I was like, wow. With Shambles. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I just mentioned prior, but that was one of the songs I listed on Twitter and threw out to all the girls. Well, actually, I threw out to Miku and Psyche just because I know
they picked.
out of them, it's those two, and especially Psyche. So I thought, which one will she choose? Because I thought maybe she will. But
Good on you.
man, when I heard Rene right after Hate, and I was already hyped up so much from Hate. I mean, I just lost my mind.
Yeah.
Kind of feel bad for everybody around me during the show.
I had a moment of stun. I'm like, wait a minute, is this what I think it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I lost my mind.
Yeah, yeah. No, I because you hear it, you hear that just like just that, I mean, Band-Maid has a pretty wide discography and they have heavy songs, but Rene has that special just way of just
Intro.
intro, just that heaviness, like right at the start. So I was like, oh no. And then it just took off. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Um, so you had mentioned that now that you've actually heard Rene, you need a new song to want to hear.
Yeah,
Have you
Paige. I think
figured?
they should play Paige. The opposite
Okay,
end of Rennie.
got it. And Conqueror. So you really do like Conqueror.
Yeah, well, actually, I think
Well, you like all of them, right?
maybe, uh, yeah, I think for a complete album, though, I might prefer their last one. I'm struggling
Influencer
at the moment.
or Unseen
Yeah,
World.
no, Unseen World.
Hmm.
That as a complete album, all those songs on there, I don't. But they play a lot of those. Played a lot of those songs. So
Yeah.
Conquer album, they play a lot of those, but
Hmm.
there's not pages
Hmm.
opposite end of the spectrum. I just like how they cover every genre of every song. So
Right,
they
right. I
they
mean,
have fun.
I've heard Paige once live from the Shibuya Line Cube show
Yeah.
back in 2020. But if they'll do it again, I mean, yeah, that would be something special. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would definitely kind of turn off that heavy rockers,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's a
I'm a
great
heavy
song.
rocker. I like them all. You can do punk, you can do pop, you can do pop rock, you can do punk rock, you can do metal punk, you can mix them all together. That's why I like them because they do it all.
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's it's funny because I've been diving into other bands, and I know that you've kind of like picked up on other bands too. And we've talked about it a little bit online. Um, but after going back this time and kind of getting back into Band-Maid for this show, it really just I was like, man, they're just something special.
yeah.
Again, they tick off like all the boxes. It's a phenomenal band. There's nothing like them.
Yeah, I don't understand how they do it, but
Yeah.
you see other people are coming to the subtle realization, how did this band become my favorite band after
Mm,
X band was my favorite band for 20 years or 10
mm,
years or
mm,
30 years?
mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
they
considering all the money, all the time, all the traveling,
yeah, yeah.
um,
I never thought I would
bandmates.
spend this much money to go see a band this many times, but in one
Right,
year.
right.
But yeah, because October by the last show on October 1st, that'll be 30
Mm.
shows in one year. That's I think I think only Taka and Mike Barber are the only ones that do more.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. Even with bandmate, could I do that? I don't know. I don't know. But
It only takes
yeah,
time and money.
that's all it takes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, man, I would love to talk to you more, and we definitely will. But this time around, thank you so much for just sharing some stories. Again, sharing your passion, and I'm so glad that you're part of the community. It's really good to see you not only online, but just all around the shows. And I'll see you again. We'll have some more good times.
yeah. I'm just telling people for the U.S. shows,
Yeah.
if you have a GA and you show up early, there
Uh-huh.
are people that have VIPs and UVIPs extra. So show up,
Uh-huh.
communicate with the group.
Yeah.
There's a chance you can get upgraded.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's not only Richard, but there are people who are generous and willing to just share. So yeah, look, ask, and you never know. Ask and you
Yeah,
shall receive. It does happen. So
be
okay.
present.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Richard. I will definitely see you again. Yeah, stay in touch. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right, bye.
Uh,
All right, thank you, Richard, so much. It was great to talk to you about just Anaheim and just the rest of the tour. So now we actually have another guest. You guys know him pretty well. He's been on our channel at least a couple of times. The last time was actually here in Osaka. So I'd like to introduce to you Mear Man. No, okay. Anyway, let's okay. Let me introduce you the very exciting, the very honest, the one and only Ryan Mear. Hey Ryan, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing all right. It's been that's right. We had the ramen talk in Osaka.
Yep.
And when
Yep.
was that?
Uh June 20 something, 20 something.
June 20 something. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, that was a good time. I was really glad I got to see you there, and I really enjoyed the talk that we had.
That was fun, man. I didn't even know there was a ramen shop right across from my hotel until I started looking for a place
Right,
so
right,
we could
right.
talk. And I walked out the door. I'm like, well, we can
There
meet
you
right
go.
there.
Ah.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The gates opened and there was a ramen shop.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we invited you this time around to MNN to talk a little bit about the August tour for Band-Maid. And you actually got to go to not only one, but was it two shows?
Yeah. Yeah. I went to two shows.
Okay, which ones were they?
There was Chicago Park West,
Mm,
and for their the after show for
mm,
Lollapalooza, and then Minneapolis.
okay. How did you enjoy those two?
Uh, they were great, man. Park West was the first time I actually got to rail,
Mm,
so that was. I mean, I kind of get it now why everybody is worked so hard at that, and it was. I was planted right in front of Psyche's monitor that she's always at when she sings. I was right there,
okay.
so it was almost so close that I had to like, if I went to get a picture, I had to like back up, like lean back, and because
Mm,
she was right there,
mm,
and so that was we were kind of in front of the loudspeakers, so we could hear I could hear Konami's stage guitar from her
mm,
amp, which was
mm,
fantastic, but the vocals
mm.
were a little kind of distant.
Okay.
Um, and then you could hear Misa, but then Miku was a little quiet too. So it was the sound wasn't the greatest,
Ah,
but what I could see was just the best thing ever, dude.
right, right. So for you, when you're at a venue like that, and that's kind of how the sound situation is,
Yeah.
are you able to still get into it? Are you able to just sort of be in the moment, or does that sort of affect? Well, I'm sure it does to some extent, but do you kind of dismiss that and just enjoy it, or are you
I, I
aware of it?
I was aware of it, but being able to see Psyche singing, it kind of
Mm,
negated the audio part of it. And it was I'd never been that close to him, and seeing everything
mm,
unobstructed was just amazing. So that didn't bother me at all. And it wasn't, the volume was probably cut by, 40% just being on the other like there as opposed to being out in front of the loudspeakers.
yeah.
And the sound, it wasn't bad. Like overall, I wouldn't say it wasn't the worst sounding show I'd been to, even though, being like behind the loudspeakers.
Mm,
So it didn't bother me at all. Um, so when I went to Minneapolis, I just had like normal, just regular tickets. Well, I had,
mm,
yeah, it's just general admission tickets. So then, when we got there, was
mm,
decided when we got in, and I could have been up closer. Um, but at that point, if you're 10 people back, it doesn't matter at that point really where you are as far as
mm,
what you can see.
right.
So I decided to hang back and go back by the soundboard and just get the best sound I could. Since I
Mm,
wasn't going to see him either anyway, I was like, I'll
mm,
just go back and get the best sound I can from the venue and really just
mm,
take a chance to listen to the live show.
mm,
And it sounded great.
mm.
So yeah, it was cool to get because I hadn't had that experience either. It was always like in between, like pretty close, but not quite in front, and kind of stuck, in the middle off somewhere. So it was probably like maybe the best two experiences as far as being in the moment for one, and then actually hearing
Mm,
the whole band for the second one.
mm. And how many shows have you been to, Band-Maid shows so far?
That well, I saw them in Atlanta too, so it's nine, six on the first leg, then those, yeah, nine times.
9 times. Okay. That's not too bad. You're gonna get
Not too bad.
hit double digits soon.
Yes. Yes, I will. I believe it's like only two shows this tour. Damn, a lot of
Hey,
stuff going on.
I only got Anaheim, but
Yeah,
I'm in Japan, so
yeah,
I'll make up for it a little bit.
yeah.
So in Minneapolis, you actually got to hang out with all of the Gaijin guys. And that was the first time?
Yeah, it's the first time all four of us have been together.
Okay. And how was that experience? Seeing them face to face, all of them. I mean, you've seen Alan, he's Alan.
Yeah. yeah, I hung out with Alan and Wave before, but this I mean, we had seen Champ in where was it? Somewhere on the East
Last
Coast.
year, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but briefly, like we didn't get to hang out that long.
Okay.
So yeah, having all of us together, and we're exactly who we are
Hmm.
when when we're doing our show.
Hmm.
So it was nice to be able to be like, hey, and then we just kind of knew each other like how we were.
Hmm.
But it was definitely cool to have no like delay between interaction when we are talking,
Hmm.
and just have that immediate kind of, a shitty look or, or whatever you're trying to communicate and get a response immediately without any delay online. It was pretty fun.
uh,
We had a blast, man.
I mean, didn't you feel that interaction was a little bit more heightened? Because I mean, at least for me, like it was the first time since we started MNN that Scott and I were able to actually do a video together in person and talk together. And
Oh,
so having him right there and interacting with him, it was a lot more, I don't know, for me, like I love interacting with people face to face, not just screen to
yeah.
screen, because there's a difference.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it definitely affected me. I think I was a little bit more of a jerk, a little bit more of an idiot.
Yeah.
Um, so did you feel that any of that was happening with you guys? Like things were a little bit more heightened or just
Oh,
exactly as
definitely.
it is?
No, it was a little more energetic. And we met up at Waves place and we
Mm.
jammed together. Like,
Okay.
so, we hadn't done that at all before. And we've collaborated on a couple songs, and
Mm.
he's an amazing musician all around. His drumming is just,
Yeah.
it's fucking up there, dude.
Better than
So,
yours.
oh yeah, yeah, by far, by metric, by just, yeah. So, um, I showed up before the other guys, of course, because I'm on
Mm.
time. They're always late. And so we had like an hour and a half, 2 hours, or me and Wave were just jamming, just me and
Mm.
him, and it was freaking awesome, dude. There's some recordings of that he got, which we might be able to pull some stuff out of.
Mm.
And it was funny because I said, he goes, "This is so great." I'm like, "It's easy when there's two people." I said, "As soon as you introduce somebody else, oh, do you know how to play this song? Blah blah blah." It gets complicated. And sure enough, when they showed up, it's like, "Oh, do you guys know this?" It's like, "Oh, here we go." But we just started messing around, and I just started
Mm.
playing a riff. I'm like, well, let's jam around this. And then we came up with like a loose structure for a song.
Mm.
Alan goes and scribbles down some lyrics, and
Mm.
we'd take a few passes at it, and we
Mm.
got a good like rough demo of something. So it was pretty fun,
Okay.
man. So we got to hang out as musicians and
Mm.
get the what it's like just dealing with Champ, and he'll probably expect that comment. He's like fell asleep. What's going on? It's like, dude, he fell
So,
asleep. He fell asleep there and at the Gaijin guys when we were setting up.
do you think you guys work better as podcasters or as musicians,
Oh,
as
I'd
a
say I'd
band?
say I'd say as podcasters. It was a blast, man.
You just need more time. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. So I mean, you've seen them now, 9 times. Um, this time around, I mean, do you feel like do they mean more? Is it just or is it sort of confirmation that this is just one of the best bands alive? Was there like a new sort of special experience? Like, is there anything that's changed over the past couple of shows or even this past year compared to last year?
Yeah. Let's see. Seeing him so many times like in a row last
Mm.
year, it got to where man, it the last couple, I'm like, I'm gonna go like sit down and just kind of
Mm.
enjoy the show.
Mm. Mm.
So, and then I was a few people back in the rows. Like I said, I was never at the rail. So having that experience was a lot
Mm.
different. But as
Mm.
far as the band goes, man, Psyche, she was just on fire, dude. Like last year, I mean, if you watch a lives over, there was some flat notes here and there. You know, she was
Mm,
still
mm,
amazing, but you could just
mm,
hear, you know, what she was doing wasn't easy. And this time it seemed like it was
right.
easy. But then it sounds easy
Mm,
when you're right there watching her
mm,
sing. You
mm,
can tell that it's still work, and she's giving it absolutely everything. And you know, when you feel those emotions in the songs, and you can see her face when she's saying those words,
mm,
dude, it's fucking crazy. It's like, oh, wow. And then Misa, it's the first what she puts out as a performer is she's just super chill and super cool, and then maybe a little
mm,
shy, like when she
mm,
gets the microphone or whatever.
mm,
So this is the first time where I saw her. So she came over to, you know, switch sides with Konami like she does,
mm,
and seeing her play
mm,
and finally getting a chance to see her face when she's playing and seeing her pull
mm,
like you know, goofy faces, just not goofy faces, but like concentration. Like, you know,
mm.
she's when you see, I can relate to guitar players. They just make faces they don't know they're doing when they're playing, and seeing how into it
Right,
she was and how much she's putting into it. I'm like, dude,
right.
it's not just, I mean, I think it is probably easy for her, but it's still like she's got all that feeling there, which I never, to me, it always seemed like it was just like walking for her. But then seeing her, like,
Mm,
she's putting the same emotion into it as like freaking Stevie Ray Vaughan or somebody, you know what I mean?
right.
That
Yeah.
was something I'm like, holy shit, like kind of changed how I looked at her playing a lot.
Mm.
So there's a couple moments that I definitely didn't get before, and I got this time. And then Konami was, I think, during oh, what song was it? Um, I mean, definitely from now on, but I think I'll have to remember which.
Fast, heavy,
It was a heavy song, dude, and oh, it was fucking
screaming.
screaming, dude.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was like sawing the hell out of that guitar, and I'm like, oh my god, she's being
yeah,
ferocious, dude. And then
yeah, yeah.
it was just like intense.
Right.
It's like, damn, man, for just like rhythm parts, you know, not solo, just the rhythm parts. She's just
Yeah,
going nuts on it. So
yeah.
it was great. Just that I think, but at the same time, they're all just so happy to be there.
Mm.
You know, you see that intensity, and then when the song's done, they're just all smiles, and you can see them. They're just thrilled to be there.
Right, right, right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Somehow they leveled up to just confirm what we think of the band anyway. You know.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's crazy, you know. It's 10 years for them. They're gonna wrap up the next few
Yeah.
months and then it's on to the future, you
Yeah.
know. It's
I
kind of
wonder.
like past that 10-year mark, it's almost like it's not holding them down now. Oh, the 10 year, and they push for that 10 year.
It's
But
got to
now
be a
once you're
big
past that,
year.
now it's like a blank slate, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right because you know this big Yokohama show to cap off the 10-year anniversary, and you know that's what they've been working. Who knows how long they've been planning it? You know,
Hmm.
so now, like you're saying, that now that's going to be done. What's your next milestone? I mean, another
Right,
they'll do 15 or 20 or whatever, but that's probably not something they're even worried about.
right.
Yeah, it's exciting, man, because I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just excited to see what
No,
they do.
I mean, at Yokohama, I'm expecting maybe new clothes, announcement of a new album, probably a new song,
Yeah.
you know, at least, maybe announcement of a European tour. Because, you know,
That'd be,
people are waiting.
I know, man. They need it. They do need it.
Yeah.
Much as I give people crap about it, they do need it.
We all need Band-Maid, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Europe to see him either. That's another thing I want to do anyway. So
I'm sure you'll have some Patreons who are willing to fly you over to Europe as well.
that'd be awesome.
Throwing it out there. Throwing it
Yeah,
out
we'll
there.
see. We'll see. But
All
yeah,
right.
that's definitely something I'd seen Japan. That was a huge thing for me anyway. And Europe's the next one.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for you today, but we'll
All right.
definitely have you back. We'll definitely talk more. And as always, absolute pleasure talking to you, Mr. Mear.
Same here, man. It's always good to see you. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me on. I'll be
And
back.
we'll definitely see each other again.
Oh yeah,
Let's
definitely.
see. Will I see you in Japan this year? I don't know if I will. Hmm.
Oh yeah, I don't know because I don't know where you're gonna be.
Right, right. All right. We'll figure something out.
Yeah,
We'll figure
we'll get
something out.
our itineraries in order here.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right,
All
man.
right, man. It's good talking to you. I'll see you
Thank
again.
you. Yep.
All right. Bye, Ryan.
See ya.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. That was as always, very deep, very sincere, very heartfelt. I think that's just who Ryan is. Now, we are back in Japan. Band-Maid is here. And on September 2nd, they will be performing at Nagano. And then the following day, on the 3rd, they'll be at Kanazawa. There are 13 more shows left leading up and into Yokohama Arena. I'm curious, how many of you guys are coming for Japan shows? And how many are coming for Yokohama? I mean, it's their biggest show yet. And there are quite a few of you guys who came over for Tokyo Garden Theater. How many of you will be coming back, and how many of you will be coming to see the Yokohama show? I'll be there, as well as, let's see, where else am I going? On the 23rd of September, I'll be in Hiroshima. So I'll be seeing Richard Hogan there, as well as some other people. I'll also be going to both Sapporo shows. That will be the 13th and the 15th. And then there's the Osaka Namba show on October 20th. Man, October's going to be busy. And then the Yokohama show, November 26th. But yeah, let me know. And if you guys need help, who knows? Maybe we can plan some things out, get some things going. And, again, one of the things I really appreciated about Anaheim and just being there in person was just how helpful and generous everyone was. It's crazy. I've mentioned this before, but I appreciate this community so much. And I feel like, not in a negative sense, but I feel like this is even bigger than just Band-Maid as a band. It's like collectively, I feel like all of us have something massive that's centered around Band-Maid, but it's taken on sort of um, a life of its own. And I really want to thank all of you guys out there who have been so generous in just helping out and contributing, sharing, and just being awesome people. So I want to thank Richard Hogan again, and thank Ryan Mear for just being guests on today's video. And Scott, I hope you recover quickly, and I'm sure by the time this video goes out, you will. So that's great. I just want to say thanks, Band-Maid, and everyone else. All right, let's stop it here. Thank you so much. This has been MNN with our US recap 2023. And there will be more tattoos coming up from Japan. I believe I will be the one taking the lead on those, because Scott took care of all the ones back in August, because I was really tired and was with family and friends. So thanks for that. But yeah, we will see you guys again. There are definitely more interviews coming up. There will be a lot more bands that I'll be trying to reach out to and get interviews from as well. And we may kind of return to bands that we've done before, like Hades, talking to Sala, the She-Glapes, maybe Majesty and the Saga as well, and some new bands as well. So if there are bands that maybe you want to recommend that maybe I can reach out to if they're coming to this area, that'd be cool as well. Thank you guys. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you're all well, and I will see you again soon. Bye.